should be connecting. Okay. Are we there? Okay. Cool. Can't zoom out. Wonderful. Okay, let's have a look. Okay. Got these. Doo-doo. Hello to everyone who is starting to trickle in. I am just doing a tech check. So don't worry if like, how are we doing for blurring, focusing, because it has been so long since I have done this. Filters? What are filters? I am also aware that I am upside down. Cool. We're not going to put a filter on because I don't think that's going to work. And yes, I have gone live early. And I am just doing another sound check, which hopefully... Yep, brilliant. That is all working. So at the minute, you're seeing an upside down horizontal view. You will still be able to see everything here. Let's get that going. Let's get that going. Let's change that. Okay. Okay, I think we are adequately connected. Hello to those of you who are just trickling in. If there was a moment of awkward silence, I was just doing some connection checking, because that is life at the minute. But I think I am live. All being well. Because the last 2 times I've tried to go live, it has not worked successfully. Hello to everyone who is trickling in. I know the notification, there would have been a small delay, and yes, I am aware that currently the screen is vertical and not horizontal. I can't figure out a way to fix that without completely cancelling the live and then the existing link not working. As I said, me going live is something that I'd want to do regularly and haven't been able to do. We don't have well, we might have Bowie with us at some point tonight. At the minute, he is pretending that he's not been fed and is, I don't want to say begging at his full bowl, but my cat is begging at his full dinner bowl, pretending that he's not been fed because there is a tiny little gap where he's eaten something he wanted to eat, and such is life at the minute. If you are all in and you're lurking, that's absolutely fine. I can, even in my current state, still talk about utter rubbish. And mindlessly, if you want to get in the chat, I have got my laptop going there, so I will actually be able to see and type and respond as well. Desiree is back. Hello, hello. It has been a long time since I've done one of these, and I did enjoy doing them. If you have not been to a live of mine before, there are sometimes I go, okay, I'm going to reset binders and challenges and do a catch up like I have done today, and sometimes we can just go anywhere and talk about anything, and you are all welcome to take the conversation many ways, or just lurk and I keep you company while you do whatever task that you have. It has been a long time for me since I've recorded a video since I've done a live, and I did kind of have to go like, am I gonna come back? And I missed the budgeting community, and I missed like the videos. So Desiree, I did actually rotate the phone, and it told me off. Like so. So I did rotate the phone. Let's see if I do this. There is going to be a small delay. The phone may also fall. It's Pretzel. Do you have Riz? I don't know what that is. If you could let me know, that would be great. Yeah, that's not helping. It's still vertical. For me to change the view, I think I have to completely cancel the live, void the link, reset it up again. And because I think this is where I ran into problems last time, and then the tech genies went no. Yeah, it's Pretzel. If whatever Riz is, let me know. If it's a cool slang thing from the kids, probably not. Because I am teacher and old and boring. Because apparently that's what we all are. Yeah, this view is okay. It's not ideal, but given that I've got it working, and with the state of things at the minute, I ain't risking it, guys. I'm not risking it. So I did miss everyone. I've definitely kind of lost contact, I think, with a lot of the budgeting community, where I just didn't have time or energy to kind of keep up with the Instagram community and the channels that I regularly watch. So I have started going through and catching up and doing like a full rewatch, even if it's been 11 months, a full rewatch of the channels that I used to watch to basically, like, it's not get me back on track, because I've not done any budgeting at all in August. Mainly because there was no real proper set income in the end, because I wasn't able to work all the shifts I needed to. So I did have family helping me out. So it was just a case of, as and when a bill popped up, someone stepped in and was like, yeah, you're not okay to do this. So stop trying. There comes a point where you can't really fight your brain, and yeah, that was me. So things did definitely take a turn, and now the priority is very much like repair, like getting to a point where I can go into an inset day on Monday and Tuesday and start the school year and function as best I can. The resetting of the budget and financial changes, which if you stay on for this live, you will end up getting some spoilers, I guess, for future videos. They're going to be massive and all positive, but definitely require a lot of planning and a lot of resetting from me. Obviously the cat is a continual concern. When is he not? And he did actually had the honour of using all of the money I had in the 3k binder, because he got into an argument with the next door but one cat called Clive, who they are frenemies, and they were arguing over the corpse of a pigeon that one of them had killed, and Bowie lost that fight, and as a result of that fight, he got his heart just went a little bit not great, so we had to rush him into the emergency vet. He's fine. He's acting like there's nothing wrong. He's got a new scar on his nose, but it was definitely a case of needing to just pay that and go, brilliant, okay. And that's definitely been quite disruptive this year, along with just general things. I feel like I was really, really on fire September to November in terms of tackling my debt, starting to work the debt snowball really kind of as hardcore as I could be. I was getting regular savings starting to be put aside, and I was also trying to make sure that like there was a healthy balance to my budget, so that if I was spending money on myself, that there was a good payment to debt. And I think budgeting is really about balance and moderation, and making sure that there was moderation within my budget, and not feeling guilty if I bought myself something, and then obviously Bowie just completely spiraled my budget, and then adding to the realistic stress of returning to, for me, academic education after a decade, and then also a complete career change and jumping feet first into teacher training on a training structure that meant that I was very much schools focused, and that was the best thing for me, and it did pay off because I was able to secure a job early and have that security coming up. But the whole time I was fighting fires, and there were a couple of bereavements along the way, and I think I can remember, like I said in my video, quite a few times, I know January especially, going, I think I'm just burned out, I think I'm just this, like it's a really intense time in my training, etc. And all of those things were true, but I completely failed to take into account that I have a history of challenging mental health. And if we talk about that tonight, I'll try and give you as many trigger warnings. Certainly the trainer's going to sound an alarm. I'll try and kind of say that, like, I have a history with that, and I'm normally really good at picking up the signs, but I was so, like, knee deep in, I think, survival mode that I just didn't notice things. And then when the safety reins are lifted off you and it's like, okay, go, and that transitional support from finishing teacher training to moving into your first role wasn't there. Whether it should or shouldn't be, I don't know, but it certainly wasn't there. It was very much a case of you've graduated by, go figure it out for yourself over the summer. It felt very like, oh, I don't know what to do now. And I definitely noticed that my engagement with the budgeting community started to drop off at around about March, which is when I think things started creeping in. And that's just little things like not making time to watch a budgeter who I'd literally watched from day one. And I'm someone, you'll know by now if you regularly watch my videos, I'm not great at comments, either responding to my own comments, although I do read them and appreciate them. Sometimes I do feel the need to respond depending on the nature of the comment itself, and that's because I will stand up for myself where I need to. But equally, I'm not great at leaving comments on other people's videos. I'm not one of those really vocal, like, commenting YouTubers who's there, but I will have seen, in the case of Abundant Budgets now, every one of her videos, and may have only commented on a small fraction. At the minute, I'm catching up with Jules from Scottish Highlander on a budget. I've not watched her for nearly a year, and that's not for purposeful, it's just I wasn't carving out that time to stay motivated and keep focused, because I was just constantly in survival mode, like, right, okay, there's another shortfall this month because of my cat, so what am I going to sell and what am I going to do? And it's just going, and just like the sticking plaster that was on my brain, it basically couldn't stay stuck anymore. And that culminated in me not really being able to work all the shifts that I wanted to in July, which would pay me for August, and then struggling to work and just not being well enough to work shifts in August. And the part-time job that I had, they were incredibly understanding, and I think they kind of knew because they've worked with me before. They were like, you're not really okay. And I'm not great at dealing with, like, personal emotional stuff anyway. Like, I'm not a fan of crying. I try not to cry. The way I cry about things that are emotional are to go and watch, like, videos from the dodo, or like, see a cute Instagram post about something, and that's how I cry. I can't really cry about things to do with bereavement. I made reference, if you've seen my video, to my dad having an accident, and I switched into, like, everyone else was panicked and worried, and I just switched into absolute autopilot and went, yep, where is he? I'll go pick him up. Where is he? Is he safe? Right, Mum, I'll drive through and I'll get you. Didn't stop to go to the toilet, didn't get a drink, didn't eat anything, drove 130 miles, picked up my mum on the way, drove 130 miles to where he'd been dropped off. He walked out, literally walked, glasses intact, out of a car crash which landed someone else still in serious condition at hospital, and this was 3 weeks ago now. And to the amazement of the emergency services, nurses and police, they don't know how he walked out of that. And And I went, like, as I said, I went into complete autopilot. You're in this obscure service station in the middle of nowhere, at 130 miles there, 130 miles back. I'd worked a 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. shift that morning, and about half an hour after leaving work, I got that phone call. I didn't have time to change and didn't get myself sorted and just went into autopilot. And then it kind of hit me 2 days later, and that was it. Like the sticking plaster came off and the brain basically broke. And with that, then I kind of like talk a little bit about money and mental health having an impact, because of course it does. You can't feel good about if you don't feel good about things. I believe if you don't feel good about things, and again, not a psychologist, not qualified, this is just my lived experience. If you don't feel good about things, then you may not be wanting to make positive decisions about the future or anything like that, and therefore what do you like, what are you looking forward to, what are you positively planning for? And it's something that's like affected me in the past, that sense of like hopelessness. And I tried really hard to not get there this time, and I came very close to. And then it was like that was the switch that needed to flip in order for all of a sudden all the cards to start falling positively, because they didn't feel like they were falling positively. I very much felt like because I wasn't able to work the part-time job, because I wasn't able to really manage that, like taking off the reins very well, I felt like there was an element of failure there, because I should be able to cope with these transitions and changes, and what does that signify for my teaching year ahead? What does the should I have asked, because I'm still waiting on quite significant information, including the start time of my inset date, which is Monday. Should I have asked questions like that earlier? Should I or shouldn't I? Obviously you live and you learn, but I was very much thinking all of those things, and then being like, I don't feel like I'm ever going to get ahead, because I can't see my cat's costs reducing. I can try and do what I can. I can obviously buy his food in bulk every 3 months. I can try and get his prescriptions onto a written prescription and purchase them online. But he's essentially living with a terminal heart condition, so there's always going to be a high element of cost. How can I do that? How can I deal with my debts? Every qualified teaching professional is telling me you are not going to have time to really dedicate yourself to running a part-time business in the background, no matter how much you need to. You just have to make it work in other ways, which is obviously easier said than done, and I am more aware of my numbers than probably anyone else, and just sitting there going, yeah, but I need to, because I can't make this work. So it was like very much a case of people stepping in to help, friends and immediate family, and discussions around why my mental health was what it was. And it wasn't, I was worried about the shortfall going forward each month, because it was a case of, I know I don't have the time from next week, really. I don't have the time. I have more time in my training year to list things on Vinted and do car boot sales than I would do in my first year's teaching. And the first 2 years are incredibly important, and I am going back in to do a master's. So I was trying to look at all of these things about how do I deal with, either the cat, or how do I deal with the guarantor payment, which is £300 a month, just straight away out of my budget. While I'm paying that, I can't really make headway on the other debts, and the other debts are still sitting there. I do have gas and electric, or I should say energy and water arrears that are historic, that are bundled into my monthly payments. And as those costs have gone up, it's not really chipping away at the arrears anymore, and they're sitting there. And the great thing is, in December, the debt relief order that I have comes off my credit report, but I've got those arrears which are being declared even with the payments, and there is an opportunity. That's 6 years that's been sat on my credit report. I have to have a guarantor for the house that I'm living in, because my credit report wouldn't pass, even though I now meet the affordability thresholds in terms of earnings. And it's like, I just felt like how on earth can I get ahead, and I can't decide what the right thing to do is. And for those of you who are now watching, because I know some of you have been coming and going, I no longer have the guarantor debt. So I wasn't expecting this. What I was looking to try and do in September, when I received the student loan payment, which would give me slightly more money to cover September's bills after I'd paid my uni fees. I was then looking at between that month and then the student loan payment in January, completely paying off the guarantor, because realistically I need that £300 a month back in my budget to either save, pay off to other debt, cover the cat's costs. I need that money back in. And I had paid, the balance had gotten down from, I think when I started this channel, the balance on the guarantor debt was £8,160, I believe. Over the 2 years, and significantly from September last year, I have gotten that debt down to 3,960. Continued to make regularly monthly payments, with the exception of this month in August. And so the guarantor, without giving away their anonymity, is someone who was and is in a financial position where it's not about getting the money back because they need it, although that's what they said. And for them, it was more about needing to see me consistently make regular payments and show a behaviour change. And I have needed the behaviour change more than I've needed to make progress on my debts, because the behaviours that I have financially are so entrenched and were so entrenched. We're talking from mid-teens, so 15 years, half my life when I started the channel. The behaviours I had were so entrenched that the guarantor was like, I can't see this situation improving. And in a way that you would with a small child, here is the short, sharp shock of, you need to pay this, whatever comes up. Like, this is good. Like, this is the amount I need from you. This is what's going to get paid. When obviously things happened, I was more concerned about how can I pay them off quicker to free up that money, rather than not paying them off at all. I didn't ask for the debt to be cancelled. I didn't ask to not pay them. I was discussing with them at the time, or maybe I make a lump sum, like 3 months worth of payments due in September, and then don't pay you in October, November and December. So for those months I've got a bit of wiggle room, and then completely clear you in January, which would have used all of my extra student loan income, but then it's gone and I've got that £300 back in my budget, and I can then start aggressively just trying to sort things and make them manageable. And they just turned around and said, you don't owe me any more money. It was never about the final balance. I just needed to see this change. You've got obviously the energy and the water arrears that you do need to deal with. And I'm conscious that you're burning through any chance of savings, because I am. Bowie has burnt through any chance of saving that I could have done, and any savings I had this year, and my focus really does need to be on teaching this first year, not hustling in the background. Anything that happens obviously over school holidays is a completely different thing, but that's not the focus. So the balance of £3,960 has been gone. It's gone. The £300 a month payment that I was making is now back in my budget as of September. As it stands at the minute, I'm still working through what I will do with that going forward, because I am now down to no cash savings on hand. And there will be like a separate video about my debt, but I'm really conscious that like there is a bit of a game element, and like if you've been around for a long time, like last October I was like, I've made another small payment, I've made another payment, I've made another payment, I'm like building this up, this is going to this, like I've chipped this one down, this one's gone, I paid this one off in full. I had the fantastic support from a Single Girl Budgets, and that was amazing and so heartfelt, and I was able to clear, I think, 4 debts, I think, off the top of my head. I was able to clear 4 debts with her generosity, and then about a month or so afterwards just wasn't able to keep up the momentum, because at that point Bowie was like, here's another terminal condition for you that's just going to cost you another 60 quid a month in meds and blood tests every 3 weeks at £100 a pop. And I was just constantly aware that I'd had to then put all of my other debts on a holiday and payment holiday and just go, I can't, there's no, like, at the minute I can't afford to pay you, here's a shortfall. Deal with a rent increase. And that tension was there, but I didn't feel like I couldn't make it work. It was like, I think I said to my parents, who are not my guarantors, I think I said to my parents, like, this is feeling, when I was really not great a couple of weeks ago, I was like, this is feeling like a game I can't win. And budgeting is feeling like a game I can't win. And I no longer know how to play properly, because I cannot get this to work. I could strip out, at the time, all of my personal spending money, drop my grocery down to minimum. Obviously petrol was fixed, and I still couldn't make it work. And I just remember saying, like, I can't make this work, and I don't know how to make this work, and I feel like within just very basic things I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul. And I know that's a phrase used when, like, you take on other debts to pay other debts, and this is like, no, I just need to pay bills to pay other bills. So my debt has reduced by a lot, and I rediscovered this a couple of days ago. I am slightly changing, again, another spoiler, and this isn't going to show properly. I mean, this is how long I've not looked at this. This is the old budgeting binder that I was flying on, and I feel like I really was flying. You may say otherwise, but I feel like I was flying on from about September to December last year, and then I completely sacked it off, created a new one, like, used a lot of printing allowance. We didn't have a printing allowance at my training school, it was wonderful. But I'm now kind of hybriding back to it. There's a couple of sheets from the tracker that I was using, and I've gone partially back to it. But this is going to be slightly out of date if you remember this. So the guarantor debt was down to 6,360 in December of 2023. The Isotide, hello from New Zealand. My aunt used to live in New Zealand. She was on, I want to say, Invercargill, on like the right tip of the South Island. But now she's moved to Australia, which is less pretty and has far more things that want to kill you. But hi, if I have any Australian viewers that are lurking. Thank you so much for joining. So December 23, I think I'd knocked, is that 12? I think I'd knocked £1,200 down. So the balance was 6,360, and I'd got it down to 3,960, and I don't have a calculator to hand, of course, so I'd managed to knock it down. What have I cleared off this? This is gonna, like, I'm doing this on the fly, guys, because I genuinely cannot remember. That one we cleared, or I cleared, that one cleared, Credit Spring cleared. I should know this. So this is how long it has been since I've really looked at my debts. Okay, here we go, that's better. I've not even properly updated this. I think this was the last video that I really did. Council tax we cleared down, cars was cleared down, Admiral cleared down, AutoNet cleared down, Resolve Call, they were all paid. So this was paid with the support of a single girl budget who did a paying it forward, and that was just fantastic. But you can see where I kind of stopped, really. Guarantor I did continue to make payments on, and then as and when I was making my gas and I should say energy, because I'm with one supplier, it's gas and electric, but it is one supplier for me, and my water payments, what I was noticing is, as costs went up, that my payments, which used to cover my usage and a bit of my arrears, were chipping away less and less at the arrears, and I know there are some focusing issues, so I do apologise about that. This is something which I am going to rebuild. Like I said, I did have a little bit of support. My mum lent me a little bit of money, so I do need to pay her back, so she is a temporary debt, and then a friend lent me a little bit of money to get through August as well. So I do need to review that. The ones that have been paid off and gone do just need to disappear, and then I do need to, I think, add the energy and water arrears into there, although those are being, I guess, maintained at the minute. But these costs are going up, and I don't want them anymore. I don't want those arrears. Look, all of my sinking fund. Yeah, so I'd not even updated this. So there was a lot that basically happened. So the guarantor debt is gone. You may also as well know, if you were viewing around that time, or if you've been here, that I did lose my granddad like literally 2 weeks before the cat decided to have a terminal heart condition that came out of nowhere. We did lose him. Now, within our family, he was my mum's dad. And on both sides, you don't leave inheritances to grandchildren, because there could be grandchildren, there could be great grandchildren, you could be estranged from them, things could happen. It's, you leave money to your surviving children. This is what we do as a family. You leave money to your surviving children, and then those children will go ahead, and if they want to give something to the grandchildren of that individual, then that is their prerogative. We certainly don't expect anything from sounds awful, deceased grandparents. There's no good way to talk about this, guys. But what we do is make it clear, like, we don't expect anything. We know that when my parents go, there will be some things there, and I'm trying not to obviously disclose too much, but we will be okay, my siblings and I. And I'm not wishing them to depart anytime soon. I will just want to make that clear, but that's how we do things. Like in the case of my remaining grandparents, they've now got 2 or 3 great grandchildren. There's 5 grandchildren. Like, they're like, it's too complicated for us. Like, our sons will deal with it. But with that in mind, there is going to be £1,000 coming my way within the next few months, once things have cleared through obviously house sales and things like that. So I've been asked what I want to do with it. Do I want to put it towards like a lump sum payment to energy arrears? Do I want something like a fancy piece of jewellery? Do I want some tech or equipment? And what I have requested is that it actually be held as the 1K emergency fund. That is the amount that is guaranteed. That is what's going to be coming my way. Obviously it's going to be in a couple of months' time. Once things obviously move with solicitors and executors and stuff, and things that I'm not overly aware of, but that is going to be £1,000, which is, I guess, an inheritance which is coming my way. I've asked my mum to hang on to that for me and put it into a savings account which has a decent amount of access, or a current account with good access, and to try and find a decent-ish, and I know that's like finding like a canary in a coal mine, a decent-ish interest rate, and it just sit there as the 1K emergency fund. So that is also sorted. So the 1K emergency fund is sorted. I am going to need to cash stuff savings in the meantime, because like I said, that my mum may loan me that money if an emergency pops up in the next couple of months. I prefer for that situation to not happen. I would like there to be no more emergencies or disasters, and my cat to not have any more heart scares or scans for at least the next 6 months. That would be quite nice. So the 1K emergency fund, which I have never been able to hit, is sorted. Like I said, the largest single debt which I have is sorted. I have picked up a couple of smaller ones to friends and to family and friend along the way, and it wasn't money I asked for. It was money that was, you need this. And I don't ask for money because I hate asking for money. It's one of those really awkward things. It was a case of, you need this, So give it back to us when you can. Particularly after my cat spent the 3k binder savings, which is about 670 quid I think I had in there. I know he took the whole lot. So I have pulled out, as you can see here, finally 35 minutes in. Are you surprised? Probably not. I have pulled out the savings challenges which I had started. Now you will see that I have completely cleaned off the debt trackers, and I do need to, I was going to say get some more. I'm probably going to make and print myself and laminate myself some more because I want to have a debt repayment tracker for each debt that I have. I get a stupid amount of childish joy from colouring in things like this and working it all out. And I know that part of that competitive joy, I guess, came from kind of what I was experiencing last September to November, where I was chipping away at the debt. And I was like, this is a game I'm winning. This is awesome. This is brilliant. I like this. All of the dopamine and all of the fun. And I get to colour in fun Sharpies. Yeah, yes, I am an absolute child. I will 100% hold my hands up and admit it. But I want to try and get one for each. And I only have the 2 at the minute. So I will go ahead and make myself a couple because I cannot be buying I cannot be buying more savings challenges, guys, because this is Leela Budgets. Loads of channels have freebie challenges you can download. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go ahead and look for. Basically, I know Canva have a few like pre-created templates. I think some of them are debt challenges as well, which I'll just print off. That being said, I did break my printer. We're doing well here, guys. And I did break my printer, so I will be needing to replace that in September. But yeah, I don't need more savings challenges. We are not to be encouraging me, okay? I have enough. I have a significantly enough, and to my shame, most of these I have not used. Okay, so most of these I haven't used, and I really need to use them. If I end up getting more, you are fully entitled to tell me off in the comments, which ultimately I won't respond to because I am rubbish at responding to comments, which you should all know by now. But yeah, in terms aesthetic budget, is she still around? It's awful, I've not looked. There's a few that aren't around anymore. I know was it Simply Budgets? Budget with Zoe, possibly. Yeah. So many that yeah, Simple Budgets. I love her mandala challenges. She's not around anymore. So yeah, I will do a full like this is the savings challenges I'm working on. I'm not going to be going excessive. But I am gonna just try and fine tune. There will be a small change saving challenge, but it'll probably be like all of my small change because I have emptied that. Yeah, it was Budget with Zoe. I could definitely do with cleaning a few of these. And Chatty Cathy Budgets has a ton. Lisa Grateful Me, thank you so much, Leela Budgets. I will go on and check those out in a couple of days or so. I'll either print something off at the school or I will wait until I've replaced my printer because I will need that regardless. Yeah, I have got tons. I don't need any more savings challenges, guys. I even have a Star Wars theme changing challenge. Of course I have. I don't need any more. Please tell me off in my comments if I do a Happy Mail haul that is savings challenge based. I do just want to caveat that. If it is savings challenge based, you need to be slapping my wrist. I don't need a new baby savings challenge. That is not in my horizon. Why do I have half of these? That would have been useful, but again, no money. Again, maternity leave, not going to happen. But there will be the resurfacing of the 3k challenge binder. What I will probably do, £500 for a holiday, not while my cat is alive, which is the realisation that I have come to. Again, Disney savings, no. And again, wedding savings, no. That's far too much hassle. Who wants to get married these days? It's expensive and I like my single status. I also have these. These need to go away. These all came out from the 3K binder. So what I will do is I will go ahead and with the £1,000 put placeholders in to start with, and then I will start cash stuffing. I am still working through the September budget. The September budget is what I am calling a mega month. It is a 5-week budget, but that 5 weeks encompasses, and I've got to make sure I write this out properly because it's going to get confusing if I just verbalise it. So the 5-week month encompasses a student loan payment, which will cover my fees. And after those fees are paid, it will give me the equivalent of, I think it's £2,300, which is near enough, slightly more than my normal monthly wage. On that same day that gets paid, I will also get the part-time wage from the shifts that I did manage to work in August, which includes 19.5 hours worth of online training, which we do get paid for. I think that is about £500, but again, I could be wrong. So I'm going to have £2,800 pay in for September. I have got to pay out of that rent for September, council tax for September, all of that has got to be paid within like a 2-day period, because there will be some bills that will be going out slightly late because I don't have that income rolling over into September to start straight away, so I will be having to pay that. So I've got £2,800 coming in on the 13th. 5 days later, so not even a full calendar week, I then have my September, end of September wage from the school, because my school system pays us in the middle of the month. So that will be my September wage for October, and we get paid in the middle of the month, which means that that money has also got to, I do hope you're keeping up, that money has also got to cover the bills that come out at the beginning of October. It should also be worth mentioning that the money I get paid in October from my school wages is paid 2 days after my rent is due, my rent being £950. So that mega wage of, we're going to say £4,800, has got to cover basically 2 months worth of bills in that 5-week period because of when that falls. So it is a mega month. For bills, it's pretty much double. £950 rent times 2, £140 council tax times 2, Wi-Fi £34 times 2. All of that has got to be come out and tracked, and I've got to manage that cash flow very, very carefully. We are then having a change of wage payment date. So the 19th of November is when I will receive a paycheck, and then I will not receive another one until the 31st of December. Now, my priority with my budgeting is to always make sure, first and foremost, even before my cat, is that I can pay my rent, because my rent is about 48% of my take-home pay, and that is cheap for my area on a single income. I am in a high cost of living area in just about every category. I have worked out that if I stick to the 5-week mega structure and I stick to paying basically, like, if I make sure that everything for September and October is covered out of that mega month, then I should be able to comfortably cover my rent payment out of my 19th of November wages. And that is December's rent payment. Everything else should again also be covered. I'm going to try and see if I can stretch things out so that I can kind of artificially move that 19th payment date in September for my school wages to the end of the month. It might work, it might not. It's a level of financial planning and admin which I think I alluded to in one of my very last budgeting videos that I knew was going to take a whole day, and at the time I did not have the mental headspace to deal with it. I couldn't work out how this was going to work. Like I said earlier in the live stream, it's like a game which I can't win, and it felt like no matter what I was trying to do, I couldn't win. And it was like, I need to win this game. I need to pay my bills. I need to get things done. I need to get things set up. I don't know within that mega month whether I'm going to go straight ahead into dealing with my other debts, or whether I'm going to try and take the month to build up some savings. Like I said, I've got things which I do need to replace. I've got like the printer is necessary. We have a printing allowance. So during my training year, we had unlimited printing. Print what you want, spend what you want, didn't matter. There is a printing allowance. The school that I'm working in is a completely different demographic. It's got a higher level of child poverty. The area is classed as rurally deprived, which means that by government measures, there's obviously urban deprivation and there's rural deprivation. There are kids who live so rurally that if they miss the school bus for whatever reason and mum and dad don't drive, they can't get home. It's incredibly difficult to get them home. About 40% of our kids are on free school meals / pupil premium, so any teachers in the chat will know what that means. Within the department, we have chickens because they give us eggs, and it is cheaper to have chickens that give us eggs than it is for the food tech team. We have a vegetable garden to grow the things like that. And obviously there are advantages there for the kids who need some alternative provision as well. But that's that level of steps that we're having to take. So I will, because of the nature of the subject, probably use up my printing allowance despite trying otherwise quite early, and I will need to probably print at home. Is that fair and is that right? No. But I did kind of know going in that there would be a certain amount of supplementing I would need to do, and I've done that in terms of supplies throughout the year. I'm really like, once I get my start time on the inset day, I am really excited to get going. I couldn't tell you the content I'm teaching at the minute because I've not been given any access to any schemes of work, and I'm teaching the year 11 engineers on Wednesday morning, which is my first class ever. But I am looking forward to it. I'm just conscious at the minute that my brain is like, we're melting right now and it's not going well for you. So I have been trying to focus on what I can control, which are the things financially. My family came over and helped me deep clean and organise the house. The same dad who walked away from the car crash with glasses intact. Jesus, that man has got more lives than a cat because he has had 2 near-death experiences. We're not going to go third time lucky, but he has got more lives than my cat, and he's causing me grey hair. And it is just little things that I am trying to be mindful of. I do sound full of flu. Said family members have all come down with COVID literally one day after another this week, and I did see them before they tested, and I am desperately hoping I will be going in either way because I have to. I'm desperately hoping that what I have are just run down cold symptoms and nothing more serious. In terms of like quick Coca-Cola break, don't forget to tell me as well what you are drinking in the comments. And if there is anything you want me to talk about, by the way, let me know. I'm happy to go there. Yeah. I am hopeful for what's coming. I just do need to get my head around the planning. I don't have... It's really difficult to say, like, I've not been hopeful. It's really difficult to say that, and because there's no reason for me not to be. I am incredibly blessed, and like I said, had no intentions. I was fully like, I'm going to get this guarantor paid. This is a monkey off my back. I don't want you anymore. Obviously, I want the person in my life. They were lovely. I don't want you anymore. I need that £300 back. I can't make it work. How do I make this work? Let's get you gone. What do I need to do that? How do I make sure that, like, I'm being smart and savvy? I hate those words. Smart and savvy with Bowie. How do I make sure that, like, I'm balancing my well-being? So, and again, mum paid for this. I went on yesterday and got my first haircut in 3 years. So you will know if you've been around for a long time that I don't tend to have a beauty envelope or a hair care envelope or like self-care. I have a spending envelope, and sometimes I will spend on DVDs and comics, and sometimes I will spend on like the very rare occasion that I wear makeup, because I don't wear makeup. And quite clearly I don't wear nail varnish either, because there's no point, because it chips off within about a second of me doing it. But the last time I had a haircut was September 2021. It was an at-home hairdresser, and she was also a bookkeeper, and realised that there was no, she was progressing her career into bookkeeping, so there was no need for her to do that. So that was the last time I had a haircut. And I was just not feeling great. I, I haven't been the healthiest in terms of like eating this year, and it has like massively affected my weight and my confidence. And I don't mind talking about these things. It's one of those catch-22s where it's like, I know healthy food costs more money, but when everything is going up and a food shop is expensive without healthy food, at what point do you call it and go, this should be a reasonable amount for me, a single person? Bowie has his own category because he needs to, because ultimately his cat food is bulk bought, otherwise it's too much money on a month. And it's like, okay, right, £30 a week is enough for one person, or £120 for over a 4-week period is enough for a single person. And I may have chosen to do a like larger shop and then smaller ones, and then it was like, okay, food's going up, let's put that up to £35 a week. And I really need to start eating healthily. I've been speaking to doctors about it. I can feel like I don't have the stamina. I'm an asthmatic anyway, so I need to try and do what I can to deal with that. I love hiking, and I'm an assessor for the Duke of Edinburgh training scheme, and I'm because I'm a qualified trainer and a qualified assessor and I'm a qualified first aider, I know that given that I have to do something extracurricular, I'm going to get snapped up for this at my new school, and I have been. I can't avoid it. I have to do something extracurricular, and they've not had to pay for my training. They just need to register me there. So win for them. I know I'm not fit enough to keep up with like 14-year-olds with hiking bags on. Doesn't matter how much I've got the mind to do it and the will to do it. I know that I'm not fit enough, and haven't got the stamina. And then it's like, right, £35 a week isn't either. Okay, we'll up it to £40 a week, and I'm still a single person. And that's not toiletries or household items or cat stuff or cat litter, it's just me. And it's still not enough, because fresh fruit and veg doesn't last as long as it used to. So you can't go shopping for the week and buy a week's worth of fresh fruit and veg. If you want fresh fruit and veg and meat to a certain extent, if you're not freezing it, you kind of need to make a couple of return trips or go every 3 days. And what? £40 a week, I feel, is more than reasonable for a single person, so why can't I make this work anymore? And then it got to the point in July, and I was like, do I need to make it £50 a week? For me to truly like go through and genuinely eat healthily and watch what I eat and do this and not reach for like the instant cheap stuff, which I had started to reach for again because I didn't have the brain cells. Brain was at this point sliding very rapidly and melting, and was going for like instant things. And there's a lot around intrusive thoughts as well, and with me. So when that happens, I just switch to things that I don't have to batch prepare with certain utensils. So I was like, I'm gonna have to. But I can't put it up to £50 a week. That's excessive for a single person. And just that feeling of like, yeah, but I now need to address this. I now need to do something about this, because I can't not. I need the stamina to get through 3 100-minute lessons a day, because that's our structure. I need to be fit for next year's Duke of Edinburgh, like assessing. I'm not fit to go out and do that as I stand now, and that's physically fit, let alone mentally fit. And that was something which gives me huge enjoyment. And I live where I live. There is a set of garages, me, my neighbour and my other neighbour. There is a field, there is a fence, and then there are just fields. And you'll hear the train in my videos, and literally next to that train there is a river and there is a bridge, and I can just go off walking. I don't need to drive anywhere to go and do an amazing walk. And get that stamina and fulfillment. But because I am not fit enough to do it, I've stopped doing it. So that meaning, that cheap, free activity has lost its meaning for me, because I'm just aware of what I look like and how I feel, and it again doesn't contribute to great mental health. So Mum was aware that there was that as well. And I'm not vain and I'm not shallow. I don't wear makeup to school, and I don't particularly care if the kids see me without makeup, beyond a little bit of concealer if the spots are bad. I don't wear makeup to school. I dress practically for my role. Given that we're bending down and servicing machines and getting covered in sawdust, we are not a suited and booted department, but I dress smartly, I dress practically. I do like clothes, and given my professional history, I have a real love for that. If you can still hear me, can you give me a thumbs up in the chat if everything is completely stopped? Can you give me a sad face if you possibly can? It looks like it stopped buffering. I have my laptop over there so I can just monitor anyone who puts something in the chat. I think it's caught up now, so disregard those previous instructions. So yeah, so I went and got my first haircut in 3 years. And rather adventurously, I have booked in again in October half term, which is, I don't spend money on myself like this. But I will be setting the money aside. I will be cash stuffing it, although they paid by card, but I will be cash stuffing it. I'm going for a full colour. I'm going autumnal colours in October. I had, my hair was down to, if you have a feel, if you have a poke, if you find like the gap, find your belly button and go all the way across, and then you'll find the top of your hip zones. That was how long my hair was down to. It is now only up to the waist. So I had 3 inches taken off. I had nothing done to the colour, just to tidy up so I could feel professional. Because couldn't tell, like I said earlier, couldn't tell you what content I'm teaching. Don't have access to that, but I will certainly look the part and fake it till I make it. God help the year 11s. On Wednesday, the first class I've got in. So yeah, so it has been. It's quite interesting. Before I released the video that I did recently, I was sat and this was when I was like, I hadn't had a doctor go, I'm significantly concerned, and I have been having weekly checkups with a GP who's like, I'm not overly happy with things at the minute. This is before that point, and I remember I was sat, I had a lined paper notepad on my lap, Bowie was on my lap, and I was trying at that point to work out the budget, which I couldn't get to win. This was when I was like, I can't win at this. And I filmed, I think it was 5 minutes, and I was just basically explaining that, I was still here, that I'd been, up until that point, busy working, which I had been as much as I could be, and that I was trying to work out the numbers now that I knew what my student loan allocation was going to be, blah, blah, blah. And I think I said, like, it was something, I'm trying to remember, it was, because people have been asking, and you're wonderful darlings for doing so, people have been asking, like, in comments of some of my other videos, like, are you okay? We've not heard from you. Like, normally there would have been at least a community post from me going, I'm massively busy, or I'm not feeling great, or this has happened. I hadn't even done that. And I think I said something like, I'm fine. Well, I'm not really fine, but I'm as well as I can be. And it's like, yeah, I wasn't. And I watched it back, because I do watch, before a video goes out, I do watch, because I can, as we've seen, as evidenced by this live chat, I can just ramble and I can just talk. I was like, I'm fine. I'm not really fine, but I'll manage, or I'll be okay, or something. My neighbour and I say to each other all the time, we have a way of making it work, and at that point I was like, I don't know how I can make this work, and I'm so exhausted, and I've got nothing left in the tank. Nothing at all. And all the times before where I was like, I'm really burnt out and I'm really tired, I was like, no, that's nothing. I can't stop this. I'm sinking into a pit and I can't get out of this without help. Unbeknownst to me, my neighbour had Nana Saves, thinking of you. Thank you so much, Nana Saves. You are lovely. And I did get your message going, where are you? I'm okay. Those of you who weren't here earlier may not know the news, so I will tell you again in spoilers, and then you can rewatch the videos when they come out in a few weeks' time. I remember recording that and watching it back, going like, no, don't put that out, which is rare for me. It's The only times I've ever not put out a video is where I've recorded something and then when I've gone to edit it, the information is like so out of date because things have moved fast and things have changed that I've just recorded a replacement video with up-to-date information. Or I filmed like a series of like organising and sorting out clips, and you can see a picture, you can see me in a mirror, or there's a family picture in the background, or there's some identifying information. Those are the only times when a video of mine hasn't gone out. Most of the videos that in fact, most of all of the videos that I've ever recorded have made their way onto the channel. And that's the first time I've sat there and just gone, no, don't put that out. Like, just don't. I don't know what it was. I don't know, because there was a nothing burger. There was like nothing to it. There was nothing that was like identifying. It was a chance to see Bowie pre his scrap. You know, there was a little bit of financial information in there. It was a different view of my talking hands, and I just thought, no, this isn't a video that you need to put out. This isn't, no. And I really did enjoy, you'll have noticed I was doing a little bit of like organising and sorting out. That became harder for me to keep on top of as my mental health slid down a pit of a cliff. But I did enjoy that content, and that may be kind of the organising and the planning and things like that may kind of come in a bit more, but primarily this will still be a budgeting channel. And I do joke and say that September, like I said in that video, September is my like new year. I've always loved the structure of an academic year, mainly because it was useful and comfortable, and I never took a gap year, so I went from 4 to 21 constantly in education. So my year structure, I guess, was dictated by the school year, which was a September to July. So for me, it always felt like a new year. I love autumn, but like autumn budgets. You took the name. I mean, I can't talk. I didn't name myself that way, but I love autumn. Like, I love September. I love the Burr months. September, October, November, December. I enjoy them. Summer for me is hell. It's like burning in a pit of hell because I hate it. It's humid, it's hot, and I know you might be from Florida and you might be from Alabama. It does not compare to the UK heat and humidity, and I won't be told otherwise. Try being an island surrounded by water with stupidly humid temperatures and like weird crossed currents of things. It is like nothing else. And I don't do well. I hermit. I hide. I can't do it. I need to be sat in front of a fan. I just need to be sat in front of a fan all day doing nothing. Can't cope. Anything over 20 degrees I say I can't cope with. So September, I think the 4th, someone might tell me differently, was like the anniversary of this channel. So the channel's going to be 2 years old. And it was 2 years. It took me 2 years to sort out the behaviour change. Because I would still have the guarantor debt if I didn't change behaviour. And I would say that the past 12 months, when I was seriously going at it, and I mean, like, even with everything that was going on with my cat, I still made those payments. Budgeting is hard. It is like really hard, and I've got a third. It's not easy. Like, and I joke, and kind of, it's not really a joke. It's like a game that you have to win. I mean, ultimately, there have been months where I've not stuck to my budget. Or there have been months where I've forgotten something. Not purposefully, or there have been months where I've gone, I cannot be bothered to reconcile receipts this week. And then a month, like 2 weeks later, I'm sat there going, what did I spend when? And so in that way, I am not the most organised. And I never got into the good habit of doing what the likes of Jules at Scottish Highlander on a Budget does, which is where she faithfully every single week goes, this is my roundup for this week and this is my cash stuffing. There has been so much that has happened in these 2 years, completely down to when I'll talk about this in a little bit of a video because I cannot believe it myself. When I started the channel and I did my debt confession, which I think is my second most viewed video, weirdly after the Aldi shopping haul, which I did in October last year. For some reason, that is my best performing video. Don't know why, there was something about it. It just hit a certain point and it still, every single month, contributes to my ad revenue, basically. Don't know why. I think that video alone has earned me £85 in a year. Anyway, segue aside. When I started the channel, I was signed off sick, long-term sick, from 2 part-time jobs. I had a serious lung condition. I do still have a serious lung condition, but it wasn't controlled at all. I was in and out of hospital in the background. I was trying to then do some freelancing work because long-term statutory sick pay is non-existent. I was then trying to reintegrate back into work, realising that I wouldn't be able to work in that environment anymore. I then decided I was going to change careers and go into an office job. We know how that ended, poorly. I then decided that I was going to, this is March of 2023, so the channel was not even a year old. I then went back briefly into the film industry, and again, don't regret that. That was working with someone who is a dear, dear friend of mine and has always looked after us. Those of us that are watching with him, but decided, literally sat on set one day with the guys, and they were mainly guys, and went, I'm going to be a teacher. And no idea where it came from, no idea literally about the changes that have been made to design and technology from a curriculum perspective. I just went, I'm going to be a teacher. And credit to them, because they sat there, like, these are like riggers and gaffers and directors and producers. They sat there, I literally, in a week in between shooting, where I was sat in like my little corner, they gave me references, they helped me with writing statements, they helped me with applying for things. They were just fantastic, and I didn't really have a time to properly delve into what I was doing because I was also filming, and filming can be a 16-hour day. Then I was also trying to do a bit of cash stuffing, then I was trying to like film budgeting updates, and it was just an absolute whirlwind for 2 months. And then the channel was a year old and I was going off into teacher training, and I had regular income, albeit for a fixed period of time. I had regular income. I was flying, like I said at the start of the stream. I feel like I was absolutely flying from September 2023 to November 2023. I was like I said, like working the debt snowball. It was everything that I thought a budgeting channel should be. That's what I was doing. Like, this is brilliant. Like I said, just randomly filmed me going around an Audi that was near me, and was like, here's me trying to do the £100 grocery challenge, here's the prices in my Audi, here's me trying to not film children, for obvious reasons, so hence the weird camera angles. And it was like 15 minutes, bush off we go, barely any editing, with a little bit of a dodgy voiceover from me before I had a microphone still not opened or used that microphone. That was a Christmas present, by the way. And bush, off we go. And I was like, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. And then, like, life certainly has a way of testing, to see what you can handle. And I do firmly believe that you're never given more than you can handle. But I have said to my neighbour so many times this past year, I'm really tired of being given no more than I can handle. There's the train. Really tired. I can't do this anymore. I really just want to not have to do this every single month. And not by doing this, I don't mean not budgeting. I mean looking at a shortfall and going, how am I going to do this? And having to work it out and having to think about it, and car boot sales and Vinted and like online surveys and all of that in the background, and just going, I don't know how I'm going to do this. So the amount of change that there has been in 2 years, I can't keep up with it myself. But I am excited, I am hopeful, and I use those words purposefully because I've not felt very hopeful over the past few weeks. I am really hopeful for September. The mega month is incredibly intimidating, and the only way I'll be able to fully adequately explain it is once I've got it all sorted. and in a budget binder that actually I can just film a dedicated video to that, because I've literally had to draw out a calendar, a 5-week calendar, and go, what does this look like? Because I don't know. And that was before that was before I found out about the guarantor debt going. And for those of you that have joined us recently and who weren't here for that announcement, the guarantor has cancelled the remainder of the money I owe them, which is $3,960. For them, it was never about the money. It was about needing to see that behaviour change. And that certainly wasn't what I was striving for with the behaviour change. The behaviour change was a very chaotic decade in my 20s and going, I can't do this anymore. I ain't got the energy for this. I'm 30 and I'm done. I'm 30 and I'm burned out by an industry which I love, but I can't be in anymore. And I can't go on like I have been. And my 20s were chaos. Absolute chaos. And I can't do this. I can't do this anymore. And that's where I got to that point. It wasn't trying to, it was let's get them paid so I can get this money back in and get going, because I need to get debts paid and arrears paid off. And the arrears need to come back into my debt because high cost energy bills, which are going up again in October, if you weren't aware, in the UK. Although I'd be amazed if you weren't aware. It doesn't look like Bowie is going to be joining us. He is asleep downstairs, and full disclosure, I have been up since 3 a.m. this morning, so that is 18 hours for me because my sleep has been not ideal. So unless anyone has anything they want to put in the comments, like any questions or anything, I'm hoping to record another video for a Friday release and maybe a Sunday release. It very much depends at the minute, at the minute I'm not, it sounds awful, I need to be consistent for Monday, which means that at the minute I'm not very consistent with how productive my days are. I'm very much just going with the brain and going with the flow. You will be seeing more things from me, back to more regularly scheduled budgeting content, and once I wrap my head around what's going on. For me, my September month doesn't start until the 13th, so I do still have a couple of weeks to figure it out, but I do want to get that done and sorted and a plan in place. And things like the debt repayment trackers found, downloaded, printed off, organised, ready, and revisiting that. So that content will be coming soon. There will probably be there's been a pause on the organising and sorting out content as it is, but I might do a general overview middle of September. If there is nothing else, and I thank you so much if you've been liking, if you've commented, if you've dropped in, you've dropped out. Thank you so much for watching. I'm glad the tech-ish worked. I will try and work out next time why I am vertical and not horizontal. But thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate you coming and spending your Wednesday evening hearing me prattle on for 72 minutes according to my laptop. Sorry, no Bowie. You will see him in another video. I'm sure he is sulking because I will not give him third dinner. He's not had second dinner. He wants a third. On that note, I am going to love you and leave you. I hope you have a fantastic budgeting week wherever you are in the world. It's been far too long since I've said that, and I hopefully will see you all in another video and another live very, very soon. Bye bye for now.